Hello and welcome to another Nikke video. With a lot of units coming out recently, rankings of certain Nikkes have changed. I'm going to be looking at 3 different regions tier lists so you can see what other regions think about other Nikkes. I will be discussing EN, JP, and China's tier list. Please leave a like and a sub, and I hope you enjoy the video. So here I am on nikke.gg, just looking at their tier list here, but I'm just going to go ahead and just scroll down here. And right here, just so you know, they have different tier lists, and like a lot of websites have different tier lists for different content. I was going to be mostly discussing the combined one. For example, Senti is not here at the top, but if I do happen to hit the story mode, you do happen to see Senti, and only that there is Triple S and all this other stuff. Anyways, I'm just mostly going to be talking about the combined tier list here. That's actually going to show all of them here. Yeah, so obviously here at the top, some of these are pretty much no-brainers. For example, Leader here, Alice, Modernia, Scarlet, and also the bunnies. I mean, the bunnies, they're incredibly good. And one of the reasons why some of these units are at the top here, for example, Leader, she provides so much benefits. And one of them is, besides providing an attack buff to the whole team, she also does repair cover. And not only that, she could also do the cooldown of burst as well. So I mean, she's really good as well. She provides so much stuff. Of course, she needs to have 3 bursts in order to produce everything, but she's incredibly good for a burst 1. Not only that, for Modernia and Scarlet, I mean, hey, they're pilgrims. For example, Scarlet, she could keep a stacking attack on top of attack, and then she has a critical, her criticals going up as well. Modernia, I mean, she has the multi-targeted burst if you happen to use her burst. Not only that, she does provide a lot of additional benefits if she does happen to do multiple hits in a row. For example, like 200 plus hits in a row, she provides multiple benefits to the team. Anybody you see here on SS here, you sure go ahead and use them. And for Blanc and Noir, pretty much they really help each other out, because based on if one of them bursts, pretty much the other one affects how much time the other burst starts. So for example, I think Blanc, she has 60, and if Noir also bursts, it drops her down to 20. So pretty much you want to have them both together. Not only that, for example, Blanc, she can heal. She does so much. There's so much stuff she does to the team. And not only that, Noir, she does provide the constant attack up bonus if she has over 70% HP. She provides so much extra ammo. Yeah, both of them are extremely good. Alice, oh my lordy. Alice, she pretty much is almost in her own tier, but she's extremely good. She's pretty much a mini pilgrim. Fortunately, she has to have a lot of investment in order for her to be good. But once you actually have her and invest her a lot, man, she provides so much to the team. Her burst with her charge damage, I mean, plus on top of it being pierced, she could quickly destroy so many raptors in such a short amount of time. Also, the bosses that have the shields, she could just shred through those shields like they're not even there. They're like paper. On top of that, she does heal herself. So yeah, she's extremely good. She's an extremely good unit. And now let's go ahead to here to S+. And for some of these, you know, for Maxwell, you know, Maxwell, Dorothy, Snow White, A2, Privity, like anyone here, there's a reason why there's S+. I know some people don't realize that Red Hood is good. Some people call her trash, but yes, she is still good, guys. And especially with this new update that's going to release soon, that's going to enhance her more. She might even be better than S+ now. But let me go and explain some of these units, why they're S+. For example, with Dorothy, with her burst, she's able to actually mark units. By marking units, that's not only does she have a lost shot mechanic where every time she shoots the last bullet, she actually provides an AoE to everybody, like to all the enemies. On top of her burst marking the enemies, if you happen to actually reach max damage, it does even more damage as well. On top of that, not only that, with Dorothy, she actually also provides damage to parts of the enemy. So for example, Gravedigger, the Train, Modernia, Jobberbox, a lot of these units, she provides extra damage to them. For Snow White and Maxwell, they pretty much provide similar things. It just Snow White does it a little bit better. But pretty much with their burst, they're able to actually charge up their burst 300 and 1000% respectively. But pretty much what it does, it provides extra damage on top of what they're already doing. On top of that, Maxwell, she provides charge damage and charge speed. So that's a huge plus. Snow White, she's able to do 9-digit damage all by herself. Yes, she's able to do 100+ million damage all by herself, easy peasy, when set up correctly. But of course, in order to actually use them correctly, you have to invest in their skills a lot. So they have to do heavy investment, guys, heavy investment. And for A2, I know she's not used that much or talked about that much, but actually for the near collab, like with 2B. She's extremely good. Her burst allows her to go into this overdrive. So think of like Super Saiyan mode, or if you play Persona 3 like Orgia mode, where pretty much it allows them to basically get extra damage. It provides extra damage and an increased explosion radius. Not only that, if she fully charges her shot, it becomes even stronger. Oh man, she's incredibly good, guys. Privity, oh man, she's a staple in many teams. Thanks to her burst. Not only does her burst stun, even if you don't want to use her burst, she provides a lot of the last bullet mechanics to a lot of the units, because what happens is that she reduces all of the Nikke's ammo to pretty much the lowest amount it could possibly be. So she allows a lot of the last bullet mechanics to shine. But of course, she is the only Nikke so far in the game that basically allows that to happen. So a lot of teams, you will see Privity in those teams. And for example, with Anise, with Summer Anise here on the left, she benefits greatly with Privity, but even then she has her own skills that will allow her to lower down her own ammo counter. By doing that, what it does is that she provides a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. And if you actually do her burst, it increases her damage even further. Yeah, even though she is a supporting unit, she's pretty much a damage dealer, guys. She's incredibly good. She's an incredibly good unit. And one of the downsides is she's also a limited unit. So if you weren't here when Summer was around, oh, I'm so sorry for you guys. You missed out on a very, very strong unit. Incredibly strong. Okay, and as for 2B, again, even though she's a defender, she's actually an attacker unit, because a lot of her kit revolves around max HP. And since defenders have very high max HP, that increases her damage. Not only that, a lot of her kit, if you increase her max HP, it also increases her damage. After 3 times bursting, yeah, she's incredibly strong. She has 2 AoEs, 1 passive AoE, 1 burst AoE. On top of that, besides doing an AoE damage, it also does an increased damage on the strongest enemy on the field. So she's incredibly good, guys, incredibly good. Rapunzel, oh man, the reason why she's up here is because on top of her being one of the few units that could actually resurrect Nikke's, unfortunately it is a 60-second burst, but she's actually able to do it every single burst. On top of that, every charge damage, what she's able to do, she's able to heal other Nikke's on the team with every charge shot. So she's a very, very good unit to have on your team. Even in main campaign, she's still pretty good. For a lot of the content, you have to use her sometimes, but she's really good, guys. Okay, Noise, she's another healer here too. She, even though her burst is 40 seconds, pretty much how her heal works is over 10 seconds. Every second she heals a certain amount. Not only that, every time she fully charges, she taunts, and on top of taunting, her max HP also goes up. So not only that, also her defense also goes up as well. I think I have to remember, but yes, she is a very, very good unit as well. I know that she's not used all the time. She's used with a lot of times with special interception, especially with the train, because she's able to iframe dodge. Since when she's charging her shot, she sticks out her body a lot, and that allows her to go into cover and dodge those shots. She's really good. Okay, for Naga and Tia, pretty much they're very similar how the bunnies work. They're extremely good as a combo. All their skills work off each other. They're able to heal. They're able to provide shields. They're able to provide tack up, especially if they have a shield placed on them. All the skills get more enhanced. Trust me, Naga and Tia are extremely good as well. Okay, now here for Red Hood. Yeah, there's a lot of people that say a lot of stuff for Red Hood, but I think she's really good. Her skill 1, she's able to do piercing at all times pretty much. On top of that, she's able to charge up her own charge speed. So then again, she's able to charge, she's able to do more damage. If her charge speed goes over 100, she's able to do even more damage. Since the charge speed gets converted to charge damage, yeah, she's really good. On top of that, her burst 1, if you actually do her burst 1 there, she's actually able to do a maximum at 77% of attack up to the whole team. On top of that, her burst 2, she actually does taunt, and her taunting does do enough. She also gets a life leech, and with the life leech, what happens is she's able to out heal the damage. So if you needed to do a taunter in a pinch, she's able to do that. Her burst 3, does she get unlimited ammo? She shoots fast. The ammo reticle increases, so she's able to hit more enemies during her burst. On top of that, recently they basically said she's getting a damage boost, so she's able to do even more damage. And not only that, the cream of the crop here is that she's able to self burst. So in case you don't have any Nikke's left, then she's the only one. Heck, she could burst all 3 all by herself. And then on top of that, whenever she does her burst 1 or 2, only the first time they actually reduce them to 20 seconds. Normally they're 40 seconds. So that's why she's S+. She is really good. But anyways, let's keep going up for S here. So for S, you're looking at Senti, Helm, Drake, and Pepper. Senti, she's extremely good. Her burst generation is absolutely nuts. Absolutely crazy. On top of that, her passive skill, like every couple seconds, depending on how high you have skill 1. But pretty much what it does, it provides a shield to all Nikkes on the field. Good about the shield is that no matter how much damage the enemy does, even like let's say if the shield only has 500 HP left, if the damage is 1 million, the shield will absorb all of the damage. So that's what's really handy with the shield, and Senti does that pretty much every 10 seconds or so. Helm, she's another good Nikke that pretty much gets overlooked a lot, unfortunately. She provides major health benefits, like, you know, her burst, she's able to heal and all of that. It's a major heal. Of course, it's more beneficial on attacker units because pretty much it's more like a life leech. But on top of that, she does provide a damage boost, and a damage boost is that she pretty much marks the strongest rapture on the field in order to get more damage. So Helm is really, really good, guys. She's often overlooked. And all of that, she has a fabulous dress, a very, very sexy, fabulous dress. Okay, now we're looking at Drake here, the ultimate villain, guys, the ultimate villain. And pretty much, she is still extremely good even now because she does provide an attack boost and all of that. Every couple seconds, she basically attacks like, I think 2 or 3 raptors on the field. She uses like this thunderbolt that goes down. And only that, on top of her, since she's a shotgun unit, she also provides other bonuses to shotgun units as well. So that's why you see her a lot of times in a shotgun team. And for Pepper here, Pepper is still an excellent healer even today. Pretty much how her healing works is that she gives HP potency up, which pretty much, if you want to think of it, is that whenever HP potency goes up, the amount of healing that gets received by that Nikke goes up as well. So the more HP potency goes up, the more healing she receives. And on top of that, how her burst works also is that besides damaging the enemy, she has a last shot mechanic. So if you hook her up with Privity, she's a healing machine. Yeah, she's extremely useful. The only downside is you have to manual her. So if you do not manual her, her healing will get reduced because she's going to reload all the way. Okay, now we're going to be looking at A ranking here, guys. So there's a lot in A ranking. I'll briefly go through everybody here. I mean, there's a lot to talk about everybody, but pretty much with Haran, she's still pretty good. She's not as good as she once was. You know, she did fall off. Whenever she fully charges, she could pierce, and on top of that, if she actually kills the enemy, she basically provides this poison to the raptures. They call it a virus, but pretty much what it does is, on top of damaging the raptures for certain seconds, what it does is if the rapture dies, it actually spreads to other Nikkes nearby. And not only that, if those raptures die while they have the virus, it keeps spreading. So pretty much you can keep spreading the virus for a long time. Not only that, her burst comes out pretty fast and it's pretty strong if you happen to level it up. But yeah, she did drop off, but she is still pretty strong. Actually, for Dala and Volume, I'll talk about them both since they both pretty much do the same thing. Pretty much for them, they could actually reduce burst cooldown. After they burst 3 times, they actually reduce the burst quite quick. So if you have other Nikkes that could benefit from it, I recommend putting them in there. But yeah, their key to fame is in their burst cooldown. That's like what their main thing is. They do have another small stuff, like for example, Volume. You could go ahead, increase her crit rate and stuff like that. But honestly, their key to fame is by being the reduced cooldown. For Rupee, before she was known as a mini Scarlet, because pretty much after she shoots about 30 times, she increases her attack by, I think, like getting close to, I think, like 5%. And then you could stack that up to 5 times or 10 times. I forgot the amount. I think 5 times. So yeah, and then not only that, she provides attack boost to the whole team as well. Yeah, she's still an incredibly strong Nikke, like you wouldn't believe. I still use her on my team, but yeah, she's like pretty much a mini Scarlet without the HP deficit there. Okay, now for Helm Aquamarine, she's a recent summer unit as well. The reason why she's in the A rank is because she's one of the few units, one of the few burst 2 that actually does an AoE for her burst. Most burst 2 does not do that. Not only that, she actually provides healing and also damage to parts up as well. So yeah, she's actually a pretty good burst 2, believe it or not. Okay, now next up for Laplace. Yeah, she actually dropped off in rankings compared to before. Her burst, where it pretty much does true damage there, so it does final attack. And not only that, it does piercing, and it pretty much pierces for like 5 or 10 seconds. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, but not only that, I mean, she was very useful in special interception because she's able to target a lot of the parts very quickly. And I think she also has some other boosts too, but yeah, she's pretty good. For Viper, she did drop off. She was used a lot in PvP before, but pretty much one of her claims to fame is that she cannot be targeted, and also she cannot she could force other Nikkes not to be targeted. So that's why she was useful for PvP before, because even though the Nikkes are there, they cannot target Viper. The downside though is you have to remember is that if anybody does an AoE, then those Nikkes come out of hiding, and then they're able to get damage there. Okay, so for Anne Miracle Fairy, if you weren't here during the Christmas, then you do not have her, or even if you try to pull her, you might not have her. Hopefully they do fix this coming up soon, because Christmas is coming up soon. But pretty much she's still a staple in a lot of PvP teams. I know she dropped down a little bit there. She heals, I think, every charge shot. She's one of the few units that could actually resurrect a Nikke as well, but only does it one time. It also provides an HP potency up, I believe. So yeah, she's still a very good unit as well. And then next up is Polly. Yeah, Polly has went down in the rankings, but I think she is still really good. I think she is still really good, guys. She provides so much attack up. After a certain amount of attack, she gives an attack up to all the team. Not only that, her burst also gives a shield. She also shares damage as well, and she makes her defense go up. She is still pretty good, guys. She's still pretty good. For power, she has dropped down than before. She was mostly used for PvP. Since she does have this rage mechanic where after a certain amount of attacks it increases like her damage up. Her charge damage, yeah, on her rocket launcher, and pretty much it would shut down a certain Nikkes on the game. But I know her usefulness has went down. For Miranda, mostly the time you see her was with Snow White teams. With Snow White teams and all of that, she does have the crit rate up and stuff like that. So that's why you would see her in Snow White teams. Obviously, you also see her in Tower, since there's not a lot of good first one units in their manufacturer. All right, so Guilty, she is a free unit. Yeah, she's actually a surprisingly good free unit, guys. You would not believe it. She's actually a really good free unit. Sorry, she's able to borrow other allies' attacks, and not only that, so if you have, like, for example, Alice there, or if you have Scarlet, it makes her even more powerful. Her burst only damages one enemy, but yeah, she's pretty powerful, guys. Yeah, she's way more powerful for a free unit. Okay, Marciana, another good unit here. She provides so much healing. Yeah, when I did the testing with her and Pepper, and wow, she actually surprised me with the healing. Not only that, she has this overheal mechanic, one of the few that have an overheal mechanic, that basically allows more health to be added onto the Nikke, and any damage you receive during that overheal effect is not taken into the regular Nikke. So she's actually pretty good. Noah, well, Noah's a gremlin. But pretty much, yeah, she's still really useful, guys. Still really useful, but she's more useful for PvP, obviously, because every charge shot she taunts. On top of that, she does reduce damage. She has double the burst regeneration thanks to 2 shots, and also her burst allows everyone to not take damage for a certain amount of seconds. Yeah, so she's very useful for campaign, not so much, but she's useful in other modes, and you will see her in other modes as well. Guillotine, oh man, she's part of the Big O here. Originally, she wasn't that high up in the ranking, guys. She wasn't that high up, but eventually, when people finally found her usefulness, she rose up in the rankings. One of the reasons why is because every time her HP goes low, her damage goes up by 1%. So for every was it one? Yeah, I think it's every 1% for 1%, I think. But anyways, pretty much every time her HP goes low, her damage goes higher. On top of that, she has a skill in the game. After a certain amount of attacks, her HP goes low. So yeah, she gets really powerful, guys. You would not believe it. She's a really strong Nikke. If you do not use her during solo raid or union raid, I would highly recommend you do. She's a staple in a lot of those teams. Trust me, she is really good. All right, now here for Sugar, she has dropped off. She used to be pretty higher. Her claim to fame is that on her burst, she shoots extremely fast, guys. Her burst clip goes up, her ammo goes up, her damage goes up, her criticals go up, and she shoots like a madman. She looks like nobody likes Sugar anymore, and she's trying to convince everybody to like Sugar and their coffee. So yeah, she's still really good, guys. There are just others that are way better, but she's still a really good, even in shotgun teams. She is a beast. Okay, for Mary, she's another good healer as well. A lot of her healing is based off max HP, and luckily she does provide max HP well, so she does work pretty good. I think with 2B, I have to double check. But yeah, she is another good summer unit, just not as good as the other units. Biscuit, another one of my favorites. She's often overlooked. Her claim to fame is that depending on what class the unit is, so it's either be a defender, attacker, or a support, that they will get different benefits based on that. So for example, if it's an attacker, they actually get a life leech. Forgot the other ones, but pretty much every other ones have good benefits. On top of that, she's able to provide 2 defender units with infinite life, or I think either defender or support, either one, I forgot. But either way, they're able to have infinity life for a few seconds. On top of that, she's able to actually rebuild cover. She's the only Nikke in the game that's able to do that. No other one is. A leader could only repair cover. She cannot rebuild it. So if the cover gets to 0, leader cannot repair it. Well, Biscuit can. So she could actually rebuild the cover, and leader could heal it if you want to do that way. So yeah, so she's extremely good, guys. She's often overlooked in a lot of teams, but she's actually really good. All right, now up for novel. Her claim to fame is that she's used a lot in bosses. The reason why is because she's able to lower down their defense and also increase the damage taken. So she does a 2-hit punch there. So that's why in a lot of high damage teams, you're gonna see novel in there, because yeah, she provides a lot of benefit during boss battles like you wouldn't believe. So she's really good. For mass, she actually went up in rankings because before she wasn't used that much. I know she has this HP benefit and all this other stuff. But unfortunately, it wasn't until 2B came out, and now thanks to 2B's max HP, that she basically shined even more. So she's often used in 2B teams, but I don't know how well she does on her own. All right, so now we're at the B ranking here. Okay, for Atomy, she went down in the rankings because there's a lot of other units that increase critical much more better, critical rate, critical damage, stuff like that. Atomy was a staple before in Snow White teams, like you would always see her in the Snow White teams because she provides so much criticals for her. But yeah, she did happen to go down since then. I think, yeah, so yeah, she also had a charge damage multiplier and all that other stuff like that. So she provided a huge benefit for charge units. That's why she was in a Snow White team. But yeah, she did happen to fall off. And man, Nihilister, or sometimes Nilly, how some people call them. Fortunately, I think she was much stronger when she was first introduced in those first introduction videos, but I think she got nerfed. She's still pretty good. She's used often in Pilgrim Tower because you need she's a 20-second burst. On top of that, she does provide an AoE for anybody that's near her. Since she fires 2 shots, she has double the burst generation. She does have Pierce as well. And she also has a pretty strong burst too, but yeah, unfortunately, she wasn't that strong when first released, and it looks like she's staying that way. All right, next up is the only SR on this on this ranking that's pretty high up there, and it's N102. So one of the main reason why is because her burst actually gives a huge attack up to the whole team. I think it's close to 25%, I believe, that's going to give a huge burst. She's still really good if you don't have any good alternative B1s. But yeah, she's still a good B1, believe it or not. Quincy, yeah, she has a lot of stuff that's more defensive, even though she's a support. And not only that, she could actually provide a max HP boost to other Nikkes. So that's why you're seeing her up here on B, and she also helps out in 2B teams, but I think there are other Nikkes that can help out a little bit better on there. But yeah, she's a free unit that we get in Liberation. That's pretty much it. All right, for D, her claim to fame is that she's really good on boss units. If you level up her skills pretty good, it basically allows you to have an immediate burst, like almost immediately, like pretty much you have to attack one time. It's like 97%, I think, immediate burst as soon as the stage starts. So then that way you're able to do more damage. Not only that, she provides other stuff if they're wind-coded enemies, I believe. I think it's wind-coded. But yeah, she provides other benefits if they're a certain code. If not, her kit sort of falls off because of that. So that's some of the downside with her, is that the enemy needs to be a certain code, an element, or if not, she falls off. Okay, here for Soda, her claim to fame is that every certain amount of shots, she actually heals. Yeah, so she could also provide a max HP, and then she could recover pretty well through shots. So that's pretty good. So yeah, but she's not as good as the other healers there. Okay, for Jackal, you see her a lot in PvP. You see her a crap ton. Yeah, because she has extremely good burst generation. Like one of the best. Not only that, she does provide defense up. She provides she can share damage with other Nikkes. So for other Nikkes that you need to take damage in order to proc her effect, yeah, she can do that no problem. Yeah, she's also able to do more damage to the highest HP Nikke because it goes with the max HP up. They get more damage and a few other things too as well. All right, next up, I'm just going to talk about Makima here. The reason why she's on the list is because she has one of the very, very, very few things in the game, which pretty much as soon as she dies, she cannot die for 7 seconds. So as soon as she receives any fatal damage, pretty much she will stop receiving fatal damage. So if she heals, or does anything, you know, she won't die after those 7 seconds are over. And here's another key thing too: if you pair her with Rapunzel, pretty much what happens is that after those 7 seconds are over and you revive her, pretty much all those you could redo that effect again. So technically, if you revive her, yeah, she could use that effect again. So she's pretty good, especially in PvP. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and fast forward a bit, guys. Yeah, I didn't realize how much this was gonna go on for, but I was going to scroll down to B, C, and just give some honorable mentions here. I mean, yeah, there's some honorable mentions here. I mean, for Anise, one of the reasons why, even though she's an SR, she's up here, is because she provides excellent burst generation during PvP. So a lot of people use her during that. Another thing too is unfortunately Cocoa. I hate what they did to the game, but unfortunately a lot of the raptures for Cocoa's burst does not affect them. Yeah, like you can't dispel them or anything. So yeah, she's not as good as she once was, unfortunately. Like for Vessi and Isabella, I mean, I still use them on my teams depending on what the mode is. But pretty much one of the reasons why you want to use them is because their burst, the burst timer goes down. Which the reason why you might want to do that is because for the Nikkes that have the multiple bursts they need to do in order to be fully utilized, Vesti or Isabel could be used to go ahead and make it come out much faster, because it reduces the burst time to 5 seconds. And especially if you have other Nikkes that reduce the cooldown timer like Volume or Dala, then yeah, you could actually burst more often as well. Yeah, there's some other ones like Julia and Arya, like Folk Wang, for example. Some of those, like they provide, not only do they provide healing, they can also provide shields on top on your Nikkes, and they're pretty powerful shields too, surprisingly. So someone like Emma, if you pair up with Jackal in PvP, you can actually proc her healing much more often, which her proc works like a tanking proc. The more she gets hit, the more she heals, and not only that, her burst is like a huge healing bomb, one of the best heals in the game. It provides so much and so on. Let me just keep going down here for the D ranking. Yeah, so for the D ranking, yeah, some of these they're not that good. It's example, Rupee Winter Shopping. You know, her kit is not good. It's like more for defense there. Rosanna, yeah, I feel so sorry for Rosanna. When she first came out, oh man, her kit was not that good, and unfortunately has never changed. Yeah, and some of these Nikkes or other Nikkes that do something similar but better up in the rankings. So sometimes you really don't want to use those Nikkes at all that you see here. And for example, on F tier here, yeah, Crow is the leader of the pack there. And obviously there are units there, obviously, but yeah, so some of these did not do that well at all. Let me go ahead and check on the Japanese tier list here now. So after you saw all the NA tier list, let's go into the Japanese tier list. I'm going to show you the Japanese tier list here. So I'm just going to go ahead and zoom in here, guys, so that way it's a little bit better. So yeah, in the Japan, they actually think Modernia is the highest of the high. Like no one could beat Modernia, not even Scarlet, guys. Yeah, so in Japan, they think Modernia is the highest ranking in the game. And all of that, if you're gonna look at all from Burst 1 all the way to the end there. So Burst 1, looking at the first ranking up here, it is gonna be Tia, Dorothy, and Leader. And I don't think this is like left is more better. I think they're just putting them all in one there, just so you guys know. And then if we look at the Burst 2 here, it's going to be Naga, Blanc, and Senti. For Burst 3, it is Summer Anise, Noir, Scarlet, and Alice. And then lastly, for Flex, there is going to be Red Hood. And how I said earlier in the video, yeah, the bunnies, like basically the duo. So Tia and Naga, Blanc and Noir, they're extremely good, guys. I think they're extremely good. So even if they're S or SS or SS Plus or whatever, if you have them, use them. They're extremely good. Like all these ones here, if you have any of these in your team, you might want to just stick with using them. If you have all of them, I don't know why you're not using them if you have all of them. They're extremely good, guys. They're extremely good. Now let me go to S Plus here. So we're going to look at, it's going to be Rapunzel, Noise, and Pepper. Then for Burst 2, it is Biscuit, Guilty, Noah, Dala, Rupee. Burst 3, oh wow, they put Snow White pretty high up there. Yeah, so it's going to be Snow White, A2, B2, Haran, Snow White, Laplace, Drake, Maxwell, Helm, Guillotine, and Privity. And yeah, some of these, obviously, in order for them to get higher, you have to have them with certain Nikkes, because Snow White herself isn't always the best. I mean, she'll do a lot of damage with her burst, but a lot of them, you need to hook them up with other Nikkes in order to make them shine, really. That's why you're seeing some of these here. They don't really make sense, and other stuff too. Not only that, every region has their own methodology. So that's why you're seeing some Nikkes higher than the NA tier list, even in other tier lists as well. Okay, so here I am on the S rank here. So let's go ahead and look at it. So it's going to be a Summer Mary, Soda, Jackal, Volume, Miranda, Emma, N102. Yeah, she's in S rank according to Japan. And then for number 2, for burst 2, it's going to be Marciana, Summer Hell, Mask, Nihilister, Makima. Oh, yeah, that's Quincy. That is Quincy. Christus Annie, Aria, Novel, Atomy, Poli, and then running down the list for burst 3 is going to be D, Power, Yulha, Sugar, Vesti, and Soline. And yeah, here's all for A+ here. I mean, some of them, yeah, for them, the tier list is pretty more compact here, guys. But even then, a lot of these aren't bad, you know, they're still pretty good. You know, some of them raised in rank, some of them didn't, even in the NA tier list. I'm not gonna read all these because I'm getting a little tired of reading them. let me keep scrolling down here. And here's all. I was gonna put A and A+ together. I guess this will make it a little bit easier for you guys to read here. Yeah, here we go. So here's A and A+ there. That way you guys could go ahead and read here. Yeah, I see. Once you start going down here, it's more of the units that aren't used that well. I mean, unfortunately, Brit is on the A ranking. She's towards the bottom there. I mean, you know, Summer Neon obviously is a little bit higher, but yeah, they're just not that good, guys. I'm gonna scroll down here for B ranking. Yeah, obviously they didn't include the R units because not a lot of people use them, you know, obviously. But yeah, here's below, and yeah, so pretty much on the JP tier list, Pro is the only SSR on the B tier. Everyone else is a little bit higher than that. Alright guys, now this is the Chinese tier list here. They did it a little different way. They broke up their tier list and a few other stuff. So first I'm just going to talk about the tier 0 stuff and then go through every tier there. When I translated this, you know, through using the automatic thing, it looked much better when I actually translated it, but now that I'm looking at it now, it is not that good. I'm just going to go ahead and just do it over here. And we're going to look at what China thinks their tier 0 is. Oh, and also a full disclosure here. This wasn't updated to include Red Hood or Snow White, obviously by the top there. This is the latest of their tier list here, so it does not include Snow White, Innocent Days, or Red Hood, just so you know. All right, so we're gonna look at this first part of tier 0 here, or any 0. So they think it's gonna be Scarlet, Modernia, Snow White, and Haran here. And they give a little thing here too. It says, unfortunately, all this is really squished, but I'm just gonna go ahead and jump to the other tier list here. So this is tier 0 here. It's gonna be Leader and Dorothy on this part here. And we go to the other tier 0 here. Yeah, unfortunately they didn't separate it by classes. They just put everything together for some reason. Here's another tier 0 here, guys. So it's gonna be Rapunzel and Tia. Let me go ahead and go to this other part for the tier 1 on this list. And there's a lot of tier 1s here. And usually this tier 1 is depending on what content you're getting. It's just I can't read Chinese, and all this is now squished, unfortunately. So the tier 1 on the China is gonna be A2, Laplace, Alice, Noir, Power, Sugar, Maiden, 2B. Yes, even Nevis there, Summer Neon, D, and also Guillotine. Yeah, so I don't know what they see. Oh, it says if you don't open it, if you don't go big, that's what they're saying. You have to go big with Summer Neon. That's what they're saying with Summer Neon. That's why she's on this list. But of course, they have their own methodology of why they're there. Let me just keep going down. So it looks like it's going to be for T1 for them. It's going to be Pepper, N102, so Annie, Miranda, Summer Mary, Cocoa, Yan, Volume, Jackal, Exia, Ludmilla, and also Rosanna. And I guess they're mostly talking about for Rosanna for PvP. It says pure PvP card. PvE is almost a whiteboard card. So yeah, so that's why they put her in tier 1 for, I guess, for PvP. I guess I mix them all together here. Yeah, because I'm like, wait, she's not really a tier 1 in my opinion. All right, for tier 1, you're looking at it's gonna be Milk there, Noi, Soda, Emma, Mary, and Sakura there for tier 1. Now let me go for tier 2 here. Let me start on this other list first. So for tier 2, you're looking at Epinel, Brid, Julia, Rappy. All right, next up, we're gonna look at the other tier 2 here, and the tier 2. Oh, what they missed? What is this here? Oh, there's another tier 2. I'm gonna have to read this stuff later. Okay, let me go to the tier 2 here. So for tier 2, they have Ree, Freema, Neon, Mika, and let me go to this other list here too. And oh, they actually stop here. They stop under this one, but actually I just noticed right now on this other tier list, they have some other stuff under here. I don't know why they set it up this way, guys. I apologize. I don't know. Let's look at it really quick. So look like their tier 0 is going to be a Naga, a Senti, Blanc, Novel, but they said here T 0.5 as long as it's the boss. And the other thing is she's T2. Yeah, which I agree because she's really good for bosses. Everything else she's not that good. And then tier 1 is going to be Rupee, Guilty, Admi, Mast, Marciana, Dala, Nihilister. Then it's going to be Nero, Quincy, Viper, Diesel, and Makima. And then it keeps going down and down, guys. So here's tier 2 there. So it's a lot of the SR units except for Enwa, Uni. You know, then it keeps going down to Signal and then Belorta there. And then for here, let me keep scrolling down for tier 3 here. So for tier 3, it's you know, it goes Mahara, Crow, and then oh, what did they do this really, guys? Why did they break this apart here? So there's another break apart here where it goes 0.5 is going to be Privity, then he's going to tier 1 is going to be Maxwell, tier 1, and then I keep going. Tier 1 is Drake, Isabel, Helm, and then it goes Vesti, Yoha, and then last it goes Query there. So unfortunately Query didn't really do that well in the rankings. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the tier list, guys. I mean, yeah, every region has their own tier list and how they do stuff. So there's a reason why certain characters are in tier 0 compared to some other ones. I mean, did some of this happen to surprise you that some of the units you thought were not that good are actually higher on other regions' tier list? I know everyone has their own reason of doing so, but yeah, I'm glad some of these units are a little bit better than I thought they would have been. I mean, I haven't seen the tier list in a long time, guys. So this is more of a refresher for me. And other than that, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I mean, this was a lot of regions we were going through and a lot of talking, but hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you did, please drop me a like and a sub. I would really appreciate it. I'm Scrublord, and I'll see you on the next one.